2, 1. Alright, I guess there's a bit of a second overlay on that one. Welcome to, well, I'll just say the first episode, just because, ¿cómo se dice? Fuck, now I'm getting fucking flabbergasted. Ay, wait. Ay. Alright. Welcome to the first video podcast of the No Mods podcast. I'm your host, Jorge Flores. And as you can see, you can reach out to the podcast on I built a habit because I've been trying to get a bit of a, ¿cómo se dice? Used to a format by just doing an audio podcast. So if it sounds more like an audio podcast, then my bad. And those for just listening to the audio, then you guys can kind of figure this one out. But like I said, my name is Jorge Flores. You can reach out to the podcast on Twitter, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. And just because I'm remembering it's also an audio podcast, I need to say my Instagram is damn, dude, I need to drink some water. My Instagram is at adept_apron, and the podcast Twitter is at nomod009. And nice to see you guys. Nice to be with you guys. This podcast will be going up every Monday. I think I'm pretty much going to do another intro podcast, because on top of doing a video podcast, I'm going to go ahead and start making them a little bit longer. But that being said, if you've been keeping up, so, let's start from zero, because then I'm going to start getting myself confused, right? So, I do have like an ideas notebook, and I don't know where the fuck it went, like, not gonna lie. It's que no mames, wait, like, how do I say it? So I started doing a Hard 75, which if you don't know is like a kind of like a health challenge. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to the intro. Now I'm just trying to fill in time. Fuck, my bad. Sorry. The episodes are usually this chaotic, but it's just because I'm trying to work through my head right now. All right, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that likes to start something and then get sidetracked really hard. I mean, I think we all do that. But going back, so this is the No Mods podcast, and you're wondering why the fuck is it called No Mods? Well, I kind of started, the No Mods idea is kind of like an inside joke for those that work in the culinary industry. I myself have been working in the culinary industry for 10 years, and for a few years I've been a chef, so it's been quite a journey. And the whole idea behind the No Mods podcast, the idea of No Mods, is the idea of the best thing you want for someone to do is to order something that's not modified. And because you're in a fast-paced environment, you'll say, oh, there's no mods on that ticket. So it's kind of what it is. And to further that thought, the reason I chose no mods was because, it's because this is going to be like a very unfiltered podcast, in the sense that I'll probably just be speaking my mind half the time, and sharing a few kitchen stories, just because, I don't know, like, I feel like I myself am a pretty quiet person. I don't really share many stories unless we're pretty close. So I felt that after so many years of fucking just grinding, pretty much, I felt like I wanted to say a little bit about my experience, and that's kind of why I started making this podcast. And not just to like share my point of view, but like just share stories that I've been told, share experiences that I've had. And obviously, my bad. Fuck. As you can tell, I'm pretty nervous. But where was I? With the overall, I'm just trying to like share the light of how fun it is to be in the culinary industry, while it being very, I wouldn't say dark, but it's very real. Like, it's very gritty. It's very, like, you gotta put on a belt in order to get to work, like, you gotta pull up your pants. Because the last thing you want to be doing is getting yourself out of the weeds, which I'm surprised to hear used in other industries as well. Because, well, I mean, being in the weeds, in case you don't know, is pretty much when, honestly, I don't know. I just don't know how. I just know how that when you're in a shithole, or in a shitty situation, and I will curse in this podcast, by the way. Uh, well, you're in bad times. You're pretty much calling it in the weeds, and you can visualize it however you want. And I typically visualize it like if you're stuck in tall grass. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Um, Furthermore, a little bit more about me. I somehow still manage to balance like watching anime, and now I'm getting back into drawing and painting, and so I think this podcast was like another way to express myself. Um, like it, I've been doing about like 18 of the audio podcasts, so like I've kind of figured out the way I want to express myself and also be very. You know what? I'm not gonna say more. I'll just start with the podcast now. So which starting it now means admitting that I still haven't found my notebook, which if you don't know, it's pretty much I just need something to write down ideas. I could be using my phone, but I feel like there's so much clutter, or not clutter on my phone, but so many distractions on my phone that it makes it harder to want to navigate towards my ideas. Because generally, I don't know. I mean, most of us are either on their phones for TikTok or making a fucking online order or a phone order or just taking care of business, reading emails, replying back. But but that's like the honest truth of it. Like during the busy season, I typically only use my phone to reply to people that I want to talk to and making food orders because, I mean, fuck. Shit's wild. And then, uh, I mean, let's just get into it because there were a few inspirations for me to start this podcast. And one was the curiosity to know how many, how do you say it? I want to say culinary inspired podcast or like where the host is actually like they've been in the industry, they know their shit, and da da da. And a lot of them dealt with coping mechanisms and just the reality of the industry and wanting to reach out to other people because generally that is the hardest part. But but I feel like that's for like veterans, right? Like like I'm well seasoned, but I don't think I'm a veteran. Like I know my shit. I can jump in wherever I want, and I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain. It's a very like very it's a brigade system, so obviously there's a hierarchy. But I found it more important to try to communicate the thoughts that I've experienced with those who haven't experienced anything in the culinary industry or are looking forward to it, because there's a lot to take into account. And not gonna lie, like I did find it a little bit sad that I graduated from the art institute, uh, and I mean I didn't walk because I was busy working. I mean, and I wasn't the only one. I think half of the class that graduated would rather go work and like grind rather than like walk the fucking floor. Which to each their own. I understand it. It's a once in a lifetime moment. But I'm trying to think how many people actually graduated with a degree, and I'm trying to figure that one out. I think it's only like a handful. It was like at least 100 or less. But like a lot of people during that, I would say I started out with more people in my class than actually graduated. So, which is crazy. And then on top of that, it's very hard to continue pursuing the career due to the fact of like family obligations and other things that might come up. So like this is a very like demanding like field. And that's not to throw you off because like I said, like if you want to pursue this, there's a lot to it gives you as much back as you put into it. And I would definitely agree with that phrase. Um, but if you're like me and you've had a lot of mental baggage before jumping in, uh, take your time. Don't rush into it. Um, Responsibility will help you sort it out, and it will teach you a lot of life lessons. Um, But I mean, I was trying to make this podcast light and fun, or as fun as it can be, because obviously, like, not to shit on Food Network, but I do like watching it. But it's very, um, I was gonna say nuanced, but that's not the word. It's very sugar coated to be funny about it, right? And cause I mean, there's so much we can get into, and I think we'll break down each episode. But I don't want to just bring up people and names and like shit talk, cause I mean, it's better to respect someone in your field than just shit on them. And if you're gonna shit on them, there has to be a genuine reason why. So that's all I'm gonna say. And like a genuine reason why is just to start shit talking. It just from the people I've worked with and the people that have been my chefs. Like you want to see people work when you're in an industry that like that's what your job is, right? But when all they do is just either sit in an office or just tell you what to do, or when they are under pressure they eat the shit, then like I don't know, like I would say in those situations I'm very optimistic. I do hope for the best, but let's get wait. Ponte las pilas, way. Like you're in this industry, like you shouldn't just fucking forget how to work. But I mean, excuse me, like everyone has their discipline and everyone has a mindset, but I feel like the culinary one, if you're in it for money, unless you're like selling something, then I don't think a kitchen's for you. Like selling something, and the only exception I think would be like literally like event planning and catering, because you are selling a product. There's a limited quantity, which is why for a lot of people they prefer getting into catering or banquets because there's a fixed amount and there's a budget. So when the person goes over budget, or they ask for something that makes them go over budget, then they didn't like it's obviously a cutoff. Which for a lot of people in the industry, that's a good source of experience, revenue, and you get to and networking, which is pretty fucking important. Not gonna lie, like the few times I actually networked in my experience were due to events that were being hosted at the resort or at a convention center or somewhere I just volunteered at, like a food and wine festival, where you see a lot of great chefs, even though at the time I didn't know who the fuck they were. Which the chef I got paired with found it very funny, but he gave me his business card, and I can't remember his name, and I lost his business card. But I mean, it's been like 10 years, so. um, but yeah, I mean, I think now that just to reflect, because I enjoy reflecting a lot, which a few people might say that's why I'm a little bit slow in the kitchen, or slow to think, or slow to react, because I've always got something on my mind. And pero es que way, if you're not thinking about what you're doing, then like you gotta consider something. Like first of all, the one thing that always made me think, and if I jump around subject, that's literally how this shit works. That's why it's no mods. It's okay. You see no mods podcast. This guy's fucking random. He exp- and I'm gonna explain no mods probably like hundreds of times, just for the simple fact that like no mods essentially means no filters, no changes. Here it is. It's on the plate. Please enjoy it, right? And if you guys don't enjoy it, like I would like some feedback, because that's literally how every service industry or uh, product gets reviewed. I'm not sure how to explain that one, but you get the picture. Like obviously a chef and a cook and even a server, like their work is based on feedback, right? And not just on the amount they're paid, but like between colleagues, between servers, or even just simply like looking around or eating at other places, because that's how you adapt, that's how you get better. And like literally like a view, and that's why I keep switching around. But most of the time I will be hyping myself up, and that's what I kind of enjoy about doing it for a few episodes. or several episodes. Um, and just so you know, I will try to figure out how to put all my episodes up, because they're the numbers are different, and I didn't notice that the host I was using was deleting my audio podcast, which has started leaning more towards a video podcast because I can just post them on YouTube, and at least that way there will be like a chronological order. And since there's no video for those episodes, I'll probably just put them in 1 hour blocks, because they're all like 20 episodes. Because I was just trying to get by with the free trial, but get, I mean, yeah. I wanted to get a couple test runs in before I fully committed, right? And I mean, so far I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm honestly surprised. Um, but if you listen back to them, like, they're very fucking random and off topic. I'm so fucking proud of them. All right, because half the time it just uh, usually my approach, as is every day in every situation that I've had, is how I'm feeling is how I'm gonna approach something. So if I'm in a good mood, it's gonna be the best fucking food that comes out. Everything's gonna be squared away. I'm gonna be telling people fucking clean your shit up. Hey, don't fucking put your fingers there. Hey, don't forget to wipe down the fucking slicer. Hey, did you already clean the fucking walk-in? I fucking told you. And then, did you already label everything correctly? Why isn't your initials on it? Stuff like that. But I didn't curse at people. I was like pretty nice. I was a very goofy chef. So when there was time to like reprimand people, I would just very seriously walk over to them and ask them. I'd be very direct and be like, "Hey, so did you manage to do that?" And they're like, "Do what?" Remember that I wrote you down a list and I can see that your list is right next to you. So why didn't the fuck you do it? And they're like, it's because I haven't had time. I'm still getting ready. Like, okay. So how about you do the list that I told you to do an hour ago, and I'll finish what you're doing right now. And they're like, okay, chef. Even though they never call me chef, because I had a nickname, and I'm not gonna spread that nickname, because if you know, you know. All right. Well, I'll accept Jesus just because it's very funny, and it was kind of like it went on par with like the whole idea of no mods, because so the way I got the Jesus nickname is because um I made a joke, because my name's Jorge, right? So I made the joke that when I go back to Mexico, they call me Jesus, and it just fucking it carried on, and and it became like kind of funny because when I was learning how to like work in a banquet kitchen that was fucking big and it was like hundreds of people like per event, it it was just a fucking funny feeling like I would forget to do something or accidentally measured the wrong amount and they'd be like, Jesus, where are you? Or if it was a pretty bad fuck up, it'd be like, Jesus, what the fuck? It was just funny. But I'm using it for the name, not for, you know, in case you're like religious and be like, oh, you can't be saying that. Like, yeah, it's essentially a name. I'm not using the full name. Um, and I make it a point to not get too absorbed into politics or, how do you call it? Into politics, religion, or anything that makes me confused. Which is hard to tell because I do like being informed about what's going on around me. And I feel like it's pretty important because, I mean, I think that's kind of, anyone that's trying to stay on top of their industry needs to know what's going on inside the industry and outside of the industry. Because, I mean, the people outside of the industry are literally what are the consumers. Like, no joke. And not gonna lie, I find it funny that having a video or just recording it in general is making me a lot more serious than I normally am. But let's see, what did I touch? And this is why I need a notebook because I usually, I usually like write down segments or write down like, oh, I want to talk about this or like I need to bring up that, and but I'm trying to remember. Nah, well, I'll just post them up. We can laugh at them together. I hope to hear from you guys, either on the comment section or on Twitter or on Instagram. Because I'm hoping this gets a little more traction because I do want to interact with a lot more people, and and I'm open to any questions that you might have. Um, but yeah, so and then so not gonna lie, just because um, how do you say it? Being in a detail oriented industry does make me realize that I was pretty conscious about the setup, and hopefully this isn't the fucking first video that pops up. But if it does, I'm fine with it. Um, because I'm no, no, no. Well, first off, conscious like I realize this is the only nice corner in my room, in the sense that like there's not much going on besides my closet door and a few vinyl covers that I put up. Uh, Maybe one day I'll do a tour of the room, but I'm not. It's not what this podcast is about. All right. But just so you know, I have listened to that multiple times. It has helped me through some hard times, in the sense that like I like jazz because it kind of just throws shit at you sometimes, and even if it doesn't, the melody, the switches in the melody is kind of what like is captivating about it. Or I'm not sure melody is the right word because I'm not very music oriented, but yeah. And then what else can you see? Oh, the guitar. I think I touched it like mostly got that during COVID. Not gonna lie. Did I learn to play anything? I don't recall. I was just kind of working on chords. Oh, I kind of learned that one, or the what's that King song? Um, when the night. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then besides that, yeah. I don't know. I, j- j- Detail oriented. I'm like, does that look good? Does that look presentable? I was worried about lighting, which I realized I think the best time is literally during the day. Open up the window, bam, bam. Because I mean, I didn't take food photography, but I mean, knowing where light comes from does affect the food, which is why some of the fancier places have very dim lighting. Um, but it's funny to hear some people's theory that like the lower the lighting, the better the experience. It's more intimate. And I'm like, as long as they like the food, not gonna lie. But I mean I get it, because it's very like your eyes have to adjust. Anything like bright will like catch your attention, and like you're dulling your senses, so like your sense of taste is like more tuned to what's going on around you. So um, but yeah, trying to think. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Oh yeah, if you want to find out where I'm from, it's kind of it. Um, I was gonna go skate after this, so which on that note, I don't think I've even on the previous recordings that I have, I don't think I've actually touched about like physical health. I think I mentioned the Hard 75 earlier before I realized I had to get on track. The Hard 75 is pretty much two 45-minute workouts, a diet plan, progress picture, read 10 pages, drink a gallon of water. And it's literally what I've been doing for like a few weeks already. And I mean, it's fucking rough as shit. And then that on top of work, it's fucking. Just finding the time to work out is a struggle. But I forgot why I brought it. Oh, I brought it up because I think that's one thing that chefs really think about, and it's hard to make time for just because the amount of hours that the job requires. And it's a pretty good. I mean, it's a good struggle. Like I like it. Like I'm learning more about myself than I did. The cold showers definitely do help every once in a while to like just empty your mind. And like I've noticed the cold showers mostly help you whatever frustration you're feeling, it helps you deal with it immediately. Like it's out the fucking window. It's the last thing you're thinking about. But going back to like health, like it's important to at least stretch, Cause it's 2 fucking workouts, so that's pretty rough on top of work. So one of them, at least 4 days out of the week, one of the workouts is just foam roller, massage, and active rest. And which at the time active rest seems very vague, but like the more I'm doing it, like the more it makes sense. It's pretty much engaging your mind in something that not necessarily get your heart rate up, but it does manage to get you distracted or just mentally alleviate any stress you're feeling, right? And I think that's the best way to put it, because you can meditate for 45 minutes and that would be your workout of the day. And I mean, you can even say like that's considered wrestling demons, and I mean, but see, wait, I mean, not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, but usually what I do for my um those days, I tend to either just stretch out, focus on mobility exercises, like open up your hips, cause fuck, and then foam roll. That's literally it. And yeah, and then as for food, I haven't been meal prepping. Fuck that, dude. I mean, as useful as it is, I get it. I 100% get it. I get it. And I kind of prefer. I mean, I cook in large batches, so I guess I sort of am. But I like to. I cook every other day, so like there's always like a rotation of food, except for when I get lazy. But I mean, which speaking of that, like I've been trying to track down like what food, or so my diet plan is pretty much at the moment no chips and no fast food. Only chips I can eat are gonna be tortilla chips because they're quote unquote healthier, and because I need something to crunch on, like not gonna lie. But but I've been trying to figure out the riddle of how do you say um is there like healthy fast food or something like that? And the only thing I can think of that's technically not fast food would be like Mexican food. And besides that, like my other alternative is like Chinese food locally. But I'm not gonna eat at Panda. That's a definite no no. And then and then I got invited to go hang out with some friends. They wanted to get a burger. And I'm like, fuck, I'm on this plan. But I'm like, technically a burger is a sandwich, so but I don't know. But that day happened like pretty early on, so I just said I'll just start over again after that. So it's like I was only like 2 days in, so it got delayed. So it wasn't too bad. I'm just glad it happened pretty fucking early on. So, but yeah, I think, or like me addressing like health is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up the podcast, not or to create it, is to express those thoughts that I have of like care. Because the one thing that I do enjoy is the idea of a family meal in a kitchen. And because there's like, not everybody feels it, but they're like, it's in the back burner for a lot of people that there's a sense of like community and care for one another. Like there's a sense of camaraderie. Because even if there's tensions or there's something like weird going on, like at the end of the day, like you're a team, like you're a unit, like you guys have to look out for each other. If not, you guys are just gonna get frustrated because then someone has to pick up the slack. And if the chef is picking up the slack, then that's how you know you guys are gonna hear a lot of shit later on. But I mean, I think I'm gonna end it pretty close now. I'm not really sure how long to make these, to be honest, because I'll just stick to 30 minutes for now, and or I'll do 30 lines. It's gonna be a 30-minute setup, or what the fuck am I trying to say? Like, I've been talking so well, and I'm like, oh fuck, I ran out of juice, or like I ran out of like words that I can use. But I'm gonna make 30-minute episodes, and that's gonna be my minimum. If I go over, that's fine, because I really won't mind. And fuck, dude, I hope you guys stick around. To be honest with you, I mostly record these as voice memos. I haven't listened to any of them, but I'll probably start listening to them back just because I have to post them on YouTube. Yeah, hopefully you guys give everything a listen. You guys follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. My Twitter being no_mods009, and my Instagram is adept_apron. And hope to hear back from you guys. Like, I'm enjoying this. I don't really mind it. I thought there was gonna be a weird shift, other than the fact that I do realize that I'm making a video podcast, but I still need to talk like I'm doing an audio podcast. So I'm enjoying it. If you have any questions, next episode I'm probably need to start writing down ideas. Oh, and I forgot to say, the schedule is typically every Monday morning. At least the audio podcast, the video podcast, I'll try to post it around the same time. I'm not sure if you can pre-plan them, but I'll figure that stuff out. And as you can tell, I'm not very experienced in any of this shit, and I barely figured out how to get a camera going, get a decent mic, how to fix the audio levels, how to do a fucking overlay, because you can tell I don't know how to fuck. And then pretty soon I'll probably have to learn to edit, and I'll probably have to figure out how to make a theme song. But I digress. Like I said, this just serves as much entertainment as it does a voice memo. So I hope you guys come back next week. This is my first episode on YouTube. If not, you guys can find me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But I hope to hear from you guys. I would love some feedback, even if it's just a bunch of fucking you motherfuckers just talking shit. Which, oh damn, I don't think I could curse on YouTube, huh? I'll figure that one out. All right, hope you guys take care. Oh wait, hold on, that was fucking bad. All right, hope you guys take care.